Your phone buzzes. The banner is terse. Seek shelter immediately. Then the network dies. Screens freeze mid-feed. No follow-up, no confirmation. Just a silence so complete you hear your refrigerator click and stop. This is the first truth of surviving the first 24 hours of World War III. Everything that kept you plugged into modern life can blink out in an instant. Your job now is simple and brutal. Buy time. You do that with shelter, water, information, and quiet security. In that order. Minute 0 to 20. Get inside, lock down, grab water. You move before thinking, get inside, close the door behind you. Lock it if you can. If the latch is flimsy, wedge something heavy against it. Make entry slow and noisy. Turn your phone to airplane mode. Conserve the battery for later if you absolutely need it. Look out the window. Traffic lights are dark, people are on their phones, neighbors are staring at dead screens. The street smells faintly of burnt plastic. Windows across the avenue are darkening. Immediately collect water. Fill pots, kettles, the bathtub, the laundry tub, any containers you can find. Open the fridge and move bottled water and drinks to one accessible spot. If your hot water heater has a drain tap, you know how to reach it safely. Collect that water in a clean bucket. It may be warm, but it's usable for cleaning and flushing. If you live in an apartment, take pitchers and pots. Get water from shared sinks only if you can do so safely. If you can, turn off gas at the stove and locate your main electrical breaker. You are not trying to be heroic, you are preventing secondary disasters. If you are unsure about where the shutoffs are, leave them alone. Do not create danger. Black out your windows now. Heavy curtains, blankets, dark trash bags taped from the inside. The aim is to avoid being seen. A lit apartment in a dark neighborhood is a magnet. Minute 20, 120. Triage your resources, protect your eyes and ears. You are still moving fast, but with purpose. Prioritize what will run out first. Water and information. Begin a rapid resource triage. Water capture and storage. Collect every container. Bottles, jugs, vases, the bathtub, and fill them all. Seal anything with a lid. Mark each container with the time you filled it. If you have a small camping stove and fuel, set it aside in case you need to boil water later. Handle fuel carefully and store it in a safe, ventilated spot away from sleeping areas. Sanitation, fast. Start a 2-bucket system at high level. 1 bucket for liquid waste, 1 for solids, lined with bags and closed when not in use. Use absorbent material, sawdust, kitty litter, or shredded paper, to cover solids for odor control if that's available. Designate a spot that's private and easy to empty later. Sanitation is not glamorous, it's mission critical. Deal with it now, before waste becomes a health problem. EMP risk and a quick Faraday approach. Assume some electronic disruption. An electromagnetic pulse can disable unprotected devices. You do not need a lab to protect a few critical items. A common method: place a small radio, your spare charged batteries, and 1 essential phone inside a metal container. A lined metal trash can, a cookie tin, or even a metal toolbox. Insulate the devices from the metal with cardboard or cloth so they don't touch the sides, then close the lid. This is not a guarantee. It's a low-cost hedge to keep at least one device that can receive broadcasts later. Keep a hand crank or battery-powered radio within reach now. If you cannot make a Faraday container, protect devices by powering them off and shielding them in the most metal space available, like a microwave oven or a sealed metal box. Begin basic medical triage. Open your first aid kit and prioritize the items you will need: dressings, disinfectant, gloves, a tourniquet, and chest seal supplies if you have them. Know this: professional training matters. A tourniquet can save a life, but applied improperly it can cause harm. If you plan to use something advanced, commit to getting trained when you can. For now, lay out what you have. Write down expiration dates and ration supplies for the likely injuries of these first hours. Cuts, burns, shock, dehydration. Log everything. Get a notebook and pen. Write down times, what you did, and any broadcasts you hear. If the radio comes alive, note the station, frequency if available, and exact text of any official instructions. This log will be your map and your proof later. You might hear a knock. It's Susan from book club, wide-eyed at your door. Vet quickly. Ask what she knows, what she can contribute, and whether she will sleep in a corner tonight. Small, trusted groups increase survival odds, but trust carefully. If you can, agree on a simple rule. No weapons, only tools for protection. Share information and tasks. Rotate watch shifts. Hour 2 to 6. Fortify the home and discipline your information flow. You now have a rough stockpile and an idea of the local situation. Fortify the perimeter and manage information. Home hardening. You are not building a fortress. You are adding friction. Replace short hinge screws with 3-inch screws driven into studs where possible. Long screws bite into framing and make doors harder to kick in. Reinforce the strike plate if you can with longer screws. Add a deadbolt if you don't have one, and it's quickly installable. Use heavy furniture to slow entry. A couch slid under a door handle. A bookcase against a weak window frame. Avoid destructive modifications that will make your space unsafe or illegal. These are temporary measures to make entry noisy and slow. Blackout discipline. Maintain darkness inside. Cover windows completely. Remove shiny surfaces and anything that could reflect light. Turn off internal lights when someone needs to move, and use a low-power red light or a shielded flashlight only for essential tasks. Radio discipline and logging. Use your radio in short bursts. Rotate through frequencies and record any intelligible voice or official bulletin. Differentiate between automated warnings and human-sourced messages. If you hear a local ham operator relaying information, write the call sign and timestamp. Ham operators often transmit when official channels go down. Avoid broadcasting your own location over open channels. Group formation and watch shifts. If you've formed a small trusted group, set simple rules now. 2-person shifts are safer than one. Avoid direct confrontation. Agree on noise and light discipline. Rotate who has the radio and who checks the outer windows. Trust erodes quickly under stress. Keep conversations factual and short. Assign one person to inventory and ration accounting. Make entry noisy and slow. Rig simple noise traps. Attach tins to a trip line at expected entry points, or stack objects that will topple if a door opens unexpectedly. The goal is not to injure, it is to alert. Noise buys time. Hours 6 to 12, sunset. Rationing, water treatment, sanitation hygiene. Daylight is dwindling. You can be exhausted and jumpy. This block is about extending what you have. Rationing math. Calories are not infinite. Start with a conservative baseline. In a high-stress environment, you need more calories than resting. But when supplies are tight, aim to ration to preserve water and slow metabolism. A short-term goal of roughly 1,200–1,500 calories per day is a reasonable compromise for most adults in the first days, with priority given to fats and proteins for sustained energy. Convert what's in your pantry into meal packets. Count cans, calculate servings, and mark the time you opened containers. A single high-calorie, high-fat meal will keep you functioning through the night, better than several low-calorie snacks. Perishables in the freezer. If you have meat or dairy that will spoil, move it into cooler insulated containers with ice packs if available. If the electrical grid is out and you can't run a generator safely, accept that frozen goods will thaw. Use perishable protein in the first 24 hours if it means fewer logistical burdens later. But don't cook in a way that gives away your position. Cold salads and quick cold meals are better than setting smoke and smell into the night. DIY water filtration and treatment. At a high level, filtration removes particulate matter. Disinfection kills pathogens. You can make a simple layered filter in a bucket using cloth, sand, gravel, and charcoal as filter media. But this is for reducing turbidity, not fully making water safe. Boil water when you can. If you have no fuel, clear plastic bottles left in direct sun for 6 hours can reduce some microbes via ultraviolet exposure, if the bottles are shallow and the water is clear. This is not foolproof. When in doubt, prioritize boiling when possible, and use filtration to make boiling practical by removing particulates. Hygiene and waste. Keep hand washing strict. Use hand sanitizer if available. Close garbage in sealed bags and store away from living spaces. Your two-bucket system should be attended to discreetly and emptied in a way that does not contaminate your living area. Sanitation failures move a small crisis into a large one. Microhook. The grid is the new battlefield. Your decision in this window determines whether you buy a week or lose a day. Dirdoasi, hour 12 to 24. Quiet, watchfulness, and sleep strategy. Night is when risks concentrate, looters move, panic spreads. Your objective is simple. Be unappealing. Go dark and go quiet. No cooking fires that can be seen. If you must prepare food, do it inside and ventilate through a chimney or controlled vent that doesn't announce you. Keep scents contained in sealed bags. Low-tech alarms and stealth. Keep the noise traps you set earlier. A trip line with bells, a stack that falls, a light that triggers only when opened. These are deterrents and early warnings. Do not booby trap in ways that could injure someone. The aim is to deter and to wake you. Sleep strategy. You cannot stay fully awake for 24 hours without degrading fast. Rotate. 2 to 4 hour naps with one person awake are better than a single all-night stands. Short situational sleep, nap with a light within reach, boots on, jacket on, keeps you ready. If you're alone, use an alarm that provides a periodic check without giving away your position. Set a vibration phone on mute in your pocket, or schedule regular radio checks if safe. Psychological resilience. Expect heightened fear, jumpiness, and hallucination signs if you are deprived of water and sleep. Keep talking in the group. Write down who did what and when. A shared log calms the nervous system and creates shared accountability. Ration stimulants. Caffeine matters, but it's not a cure. Drink water regularly. Dehydration amplifies anxiety and cognitive degradation. Expect attempts at looting in nearby streets as night deepens. Keep doors barricaded and move to interior rooms away from windows. The goal is to be a house the desperate pass by, not a prize. Microhook. You won't win a firefight tonight. Make being with you harder than the risk of passing you by. Hour 24. Dawn assessment and the plan for the next days. Sunrise is always a reckoning. You have made it 24 hours. Now you assess and plan. Do a morning perimeter check from inside. Open a small, concealed peephole and look for smoke plumes, wind direction, and movement patterns. The smell of burning, ash in the air, or new sounds indicates where to avoid. Use binoculars or your phone camera with maximum zoom from behind cover. Do not expose yourself for a full reconnaissance. Check broadcasts. Power up your radio briefly. Note whether the same frequencies are active. Cross-check information from different sources. If you hear a coherent broadcast, log it. Time, content, and source if possible. Resist panic from rumor. Prioritize confirmed reports. Inventory supplies. Write down current water totals and project usage. With strict rationing and no resupply, a conservative target is water for 3 to 7 days for basic survival tasks and at least 2 weeks of calorie-controlled food if you can manage it. This varies by household size and health. Count calories in a practical way. Cans of beans. Number of energy-dense items like peanut butter and meal portions. Plan food and water use to extend into a weeks-long horizon, not just hours. Evaluate medical needs. Any injuries that went untreated overnight need professional attention. If professional help is not available, continue basic first aid and prioritize clean dressings, hydration, and warmth. Keep patients warm and calm. Decide on next objectives. If your neighborhood is collapsing and a known community shelter or staged meeting point is a safer bet, prepare to move only with a plan. Route. Fail-safes. What you will carry. If moving is impossible, fortify and start outreach to nearby trusted neighbors to form a broader cooperative. The first 24 hours are about survival. The next phase is about sustainability. Sober appraisal and what comes after day 1. You will not have all the answers. You will see partial truths and rumors. You will make mistakes. The measure of success in the first 24 hours is not heroics. It is discipline. Water was your first priority because clean water disappears faster than you expect. Shelter and darkness kept you unnoticed. Information kept you marginally connected. Security measures bought you time. These are the building blocks of a longer plan. If you followed these priorities, you have sealed containers, a basic sanitation setup, at least one protected radio, a written log of events and broadcasts, a small group agreement, short-term fortifications, and a ration plan. Each of those is a resource you can trade for safety, assistance, or time. Warnings and limits. None of this guarantees survival. The strategies here reduce risk and increase options. Do not improvise medical techniques you are not trained for. Do not set traps that could injure someone. Do not take on activities that break the law or put you in direct violent confrontation. When authorities or aid reappear, weigh their instructions, but trust documented multiple source confirmations before exposing your location or resources. What you must hold in your mind is this: World War III, for civilians in cities, will initially kill the systems that support life more than people outright. Power, water, food supply chains, communications, these fail fast. Your best defense is to buy time while those systems either stabilize or you find a safer community to join. Time is the currency you must earn. 2 actions to take right now. If you watched this to the end, take these 2 practical steps in the next 2 hours. 1. Download the printable First 24 Hours checklist in the description and put it where everyone in your household can find it. 2. Make a quick inventory and write it down. Water containers, number of meals, first aid contents, and who is on watch tonight. If you make calm, prioritized choices in the first 24 hours, you dramatically improve your ability to adapt over the next week. This is not an end. It is day 1 of a longer endurance. Learn to live on discipline and small, repeatable habits. Subscribe for the Week 2 Survival Guide. In the next episode, we move from buying time to building a sustainable routine. Extended water strategies, community triage, barter and barter safety, and securing power without reckless exposure. You made it this far. Now plan to stay the course.